Alrighty, what's good, y'all? Hope you guys are having a good day. Today I'm having a good day. I did work on my own a little bit more, and I will say I do like working on my own. It gives me, I don't know, the quiet time is nice, but I get things done on my own as well. But nothing really changes, to be honest. But I did learn more about rap, flex rap, which this is probably my favorite thing that I've learned from this. So in the menu container, I didn't know how exactly I would implement my IDs, but now I see using it next to a class is one way of doing it, probably the only way of doing it. And having the ID at the very end and still be somewhat universal, crucial. Crucial. This is a huge step because when what FlexWrap does is it wraps the containers so they're not all smushing into one another. So if I take this out and then push this in, they all smush into each other like that. Very similar to the way this is right now. So if we bring wrap back to the present and add an ID of wrap to our socials information, might make sure this is the, okay, so what is the socials info? So this might be the chapter, going back to our analogy, chapters, or book, chapter, content. So I might need an overall, let's do this. Div Also, I'm not going to put the timer on today. I'm going to try something different. I know having that timer, it's very important to do Pomodoro and to pace yourself and the cognitive, being able to remember things after the learning session. But I feel like I have that, what would you say? I feel like I'm cool with coding. The way I think of coding is the same way I think of video games, in terms of it's about what works and what doesn't. Yeah, there might be some games where it's all about winning, but in this, you're not really winning anything except more knowledge. And the only way to get more knowledge is to understand if something works or if it doesn't work. So that right there is just my baseline. What works and what doesn't work. And you guys have heard it. If you've watched all the videos, there's been moments where I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I got to do this. I guess I do that. And then there's other moments I'm like, oh, yes, it's about time. Shoot. So with this, we're going to make our book to fit our chapters. So this is going to be the social, or we're going to make this a class first. Class, and then socials container. We're going to make an ID of wrap. Save that. And then from here, I need, okay, so they're still smushed up. Oh, you know what? That's my customer reviews that's messing up. Hold up. Hold on, I think that messed up too. Let me take this out. No, that's still holding together pretty nice. I'll leave the ID of wrap there. Our customer reviews. Let me see. Customer reviews container. Wrap. Now this should. Okay, I'm missing something. Customer reviews container. Let's look at that. Okay, so it should be right here. Looks like I didn't get that far with it. So we have dot customer reviews container. And then I definitely want a margin just to keep them separated. Let's do, it looks like it already has a decent sized margin from the top. 0, 0. Just okay, that's not. Maybe 12. Do I have to reset this? All right, let's make sure this is working. Customer reviews container. Make sure it's all spelled correctly. Yeah. It's still on that same line. Let's look. Okay, so we have customer reviews. It's its own div class. We have our container that has our 3 names. So the reviews container, I feel like, I feel like this should be moving, but it's not. So let me try customer reviews. Still nothing. See if we can change the color of it to blue. Okay, so it does change. Or it's able to move, rather. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So it works. That's for sure. Why is it not moving? Or why is it not making more space? Let's see where this is. All socials info. Because it's in between the contact. Got it. I think that's what it is. So I want it right after this. Boom, boom. Okay, now we have customer reviews. Now I want this. Let's make it 10. Oh, okay. Use margin titanium 0, 0, 0, 0. Nice. Too many zeros. Okay. So then I want 10. Probably gonna do. Let's do 20. And then this, I just want 1. Definitely want the text align to be centered. And then from here, I want, I think it's display And I want it to be just like my menu. Oh no, I wanted to, okay, that's the other thing I wanted to work on. I want this to be like a grid. So today our lesson is on grids, grid essentials. Let me bring that up, create a grid. Okay. So I wanted to make that a grid just so we can get practice on grids. Okay, you need to have both a grid container and grid items. The grid container will be a parameter element that contains grid items. Okay, what if I want to do this in CSS? Okay, you use display grid. Interesting. It looks like it's only an HTML deal. So you still need to make a div class grid. Okay. So let's try that. And then the way they wrote it is just as an entire div, the elements in it. So we have customer reviews. Guess we would call this grid? Nah. Div class grid. No, that's not how they have it on here actually. So this will be box A, box. Oh, so you can have spaces. Box A. This would be box B. And this would be box C. Okay. Then we do want overall div in here. From what it looks like. Okay, so then we're gonna make this div class grid. From here, style CSS will have our grid. Display grid. The way they have it too, it's a little different. Actually, I'm just gonna copy and paste that into here, and it doesn't do anything. Okay. Because I put this up here. Oh, yeah, that's definitely why I put it in the wrong spot. Class. There we go. So it's one big grid. Let's look at this again. Take me back to HTML, sir. Please, please. So we have grid, class, box A. We have grid, class, box A, box B. So what am I doing different? What am I doing different? Why does it not look like that? Go back to the CSS. Box. We have grid. Okay, let me try that. Dang. Hold on. Let me try this. Well, that's just labeled as box. Oh, there it goes. It says box A, B, C, D. Keep this separate. Very interesting that you don't have to put A, B, C, D. So why we specified box. If we didn't have grid, it would be horizontal. Grid is the overall. Grid is wrapped around the content. So it already has the lines. Box or it already had the line with grid. Box specifies the specific boxes, but it doesn't take account of the letter after it. I'm sure if I did box A, nothing happens. Very interesting. Okay. So I labeled it box. Color black. Border radius 5 pixels. Is it because there's a border radius? Once again, it only specifies the box elements. And there's 3 box elements. So they're each gonna have their own background color. Because if I take this away, it's all gonna be 1. Yep, just 1. I'm not specifying each individual box. This is. Without having the extra letter at the end. That's insane to me. Without having the extra letter after it. Okay. I can get down with that. So. Hey, I thought this was text align center. Why is it not? Oh no, the text is aligned in the center. The freaking grid isn't. Grid is not. Okay, so where's my sheet? Here we go. Okay, so we got creating columns, creating rows. We've learned how to define the number of columns in our grid explicitly. To specify the number and size of the rows, we are going to use the property grid template rows. Display grid. To specify the number and size of the rows. Two columns and 3 rows. The first row is 50 pixels tall, 10% of 500. The second row is 100 pixels tall. I'm getting sleepy, golly. Okay, yeah, I'm getting sleepy.